Welcome to another MSK coding video. My name is MSK, and this video will be a Python program explaining video. So, first of all, what does this Python program do? Well, it gives you the factors for numbers. What are factors, you ask? Well, factors are like add-ins for addition, and factors are for multiplication. So, in addition, it would be 4 plus 4 is 8. The add-ins in 4 plus 4 equals 8 is 4, because you have 4 and 4. One number is 4. So, but for multiplication, we have factors. So for factors, you do it like this. Let's take the number 8 as an example. So the number 8 has 4 factors. The factors are 1, 2, 4, and 8. And that is because the definition of a factor is numbers that when you multiply together, you get the product. So you have 1 times 8, awesome, 8. That's 1. And you also have 2 times 4. That's another. So it's 1, 8, 2, and 4. So those are the 4 numbers that are factors of 8. So now that I've explained what the factors are, we can move on to the code. Let's go. So now we can see the code. So we can go to the first line here. Num equals int of input of. Give the number you want to see the factors for. This line right here, the first one. So let's start inwards. Give the number you want to see the factors for. That is then in an input, meaning it will ask you. So there is no type. What you input in, like if you want to see 8, it doesn't have a type. It's not a number yet. We have to specify that it is an integer before we can assign it to num. An integer is any whole number. If you put a decimal, it will give an error. So the integer of the input that you gave will be set to num. The counter, which is another variable that we're using, is set to 1. L is for list, and it's an empty list, and X is 1. These will all come into action in this while loop right here. So now we have while counter is less than or equal to num. So that's going to while counter is less than or equal to num. That makes sense. Counter is 1, and num in this case is 8, if we put it in like that. So we have this, and all the way at the end, it says counter plus equals 1. So after all of this code is executed, it will add 1. Then it'll go again, the while loop. Since it's still less than 8, it'll do it again until it gets to 8. When it gets to 8, that's going to be the last time that this while loop runs. So inside the while loop, we have x equals num modulus counter. So this modulus thing, you may have seen in the other videos or even here as substituting. So we substitute using this, but it is also an operator, which means it's kind of like addition for plus, subtraction, minus, those things. And so this one gives you the remainder. So if you have num and counter, so you can do num over counter, which in this case 8 over 1, which is 8. That would be 0, because 8 can, well, not 8, 1 can fit into 8 exactly 8 times, and it will give no remainder, meaning there is no number left. So if you were to do 3 and 2, it would give out a 1, because 2 can fit into 3 one time, but that's not the 1. What is left? 1. And you can't do it again, because that'll give you a negative number. And we're trying to avoid those here. So after we put in 1 time for 3 and 2, it'll give out a remainder of 1, which is the answer for 3 modulus 2. But it's not 3 modulus 2 here. It's num modulus counter. So we'll take the remainder of num over counter and set that to x. Num and counter are integers, so we don't need to specify this is an integer. So now we have if x is 0, then L.append counter. So this is the one that specifies will this be put in the list. So if it's x is 0, meaning if there's no remainder, then take that number and append it to the list. So if you have 8 and 1, 1 can go into 8 times, leaving no remainder. So x is 0 because x is the remainder of num over counter. So it will append that counter number, which is 1 because it's the first one. Then it'll add 1 to the counter. That's what this plus equals 1 means. Counter equals counter plus 1. So it'll do it again 8 times. And so then it'll add to the list every single number that gives a remainder of 0. So now the last two. This is where we really need to see. Print the numbers that you gave. Percentage I has percentage I factors. Percentage num len L this. So if you look over here, len of L. I talked about the len function, the linked function, in the Function Friday video that I did. And for almost all of the other videos, I've been using this percentage for substituting. So if you watch the other videos, you'll be familiar with what this is. But if you didn't, it basically says the number that you gave, percentage I, so that percentage I is a substituter. So it'll substitute this percentage I for whatever is in this first. Because this is the first one, there are 2. This is the first one. And this is the first one, there are 2. This is the first one. So num is this. Num is 8. So the number that you gave, 8, has the factor number, which is length of L. See the length video, it basically means how many items there are in the list. So it'll say, in this case it would be 4 for 8. So the number that you gave, 8, has 4 factors. That's what it'll say. Then we have print. These factors are percentage S, percentage string of L. So it's the same thing, but when I tried to do percentage L for list, it gave me an error. So I had to change the list into a string and then do percentage S. So that these factors are, then it'll show what the list is. So we can run it again and I'll go to that screen. So let's move on. Now we are in the shell, so we can run it here. So let me run it. Python, no, run module. Yes, this one. It'll run. Give the number that you want to see the factors for. So we can do a number, maybe like 32. So you can see this in action. The number that you gave, 32, has 6 factors. Remember, this was the num, and this was the length of the list. So then these factors are, and this was the list that it printed. So we can do it again. Sadly, it doesn't work for negative numbers. I tried to make a version that does use negative numbers, but I couldn't. So if you do it like negative 8, it says the number that you gave negative 8 has 0 factors. Even though you could say that it's negative 4 and 2. Just with this program, it doesn't look at the negative numbers. But we can do it for other numbers. For decimals, it actually gives an error because they are not integers. They don't even round. So if you do like 8.4, if you wanted to round it down or up using the math module, you could do that, but right here, not using any modules. So it'll just give an error, as you see here. So yeah, invalid literal for int with base 10, 8.4. This is not an integer, and you can't convert it into one. So that was an error. So I think I covered everything. So yeah, bye. See you next video. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe. By the end of September 2019, I wish to have 50 subscribers. So if you like the video, please subscribe. Bye.